How's everybody doing today? I'm going live to talk today about punchers in boxing. I've called it the puncher's curse, and other people have other words for it. Punches are great, don't get me wrong, okay? Punching power is a valuable tool, it's a very exciting thing to watch, and punchers, they more or less make boxing because people flock to their TVs and buy tickets because they want to see knockouts. But what I'm going to talk about is the difficulty that, okay, when a young fighter knocks out a lot of, he scores a lot of knockouts, a lot of times it prevents him from getting that top level experience that's going to enable him to do well in difficult fights. Okay, what I mean is, okay, let's take for example a first round. If you score a first round knockout as a young fighter, you haven't grown. You haven't developed from that experience. There's not a lot of development that comes in a first round knockout. Okay, it's a good outing. It's a good performance. Yeah, you did well. Your power's in place. You were able to hit this guy. You were able to set him up and get him out of there. That's a good thing. But you didn't grow from the fight. Okay, that doesn't put you. You're not building the durability. You're not going through tough rounds to build your character as a fighter and your endurance and your durability as a fighter that you're going to need when you can't knock a guy out. Okay, and I've seen it happen a lot of times where guys come up knocking everybody out. We saw it with Deontay Wilder. We've seen it with Sergey Kovalev. We've seen it with, who else can I put in there? I mean, there's so many fighters that come up and just knock guys dead. But they don't get the rounds that are going to prepare them when fights get hard. Like Andre Ward is a good example. He came up, he got his share of knockouts, but at the same time, when a fighter is knocking people out and he's developing as a fighter and he's going through, he's winning, he's doing what he's supposed to do, the management has to come along and up your level. Okay, they got to throw you in with tougher opponents because that's what you're going to need when the time comes to face the beasts of the world. Okay, there's a let loose period like with Andre. Andre was, they managed him very well. Okay, they got him fights where he was knocking guys out, but then they upped his opposition quickly to get him in title contention and to get him ready to fight the Mikhail Kesslers, the Carl Froches, the Chad Dawson's, all those guys that he did fight, okay, and he was ready when the time came because of all the fights he took early on that were tougher, that raised his game. I think it was Edison Miranda. He fought Arthur Abraham at some point, but I mean, he fought very, very tough fights at the right time before he got in there with the beasts. Okay, so he was ready when the time came, and that's what it's going to take at that top level. Okay, if you come cruising into contention, you become a top 10 rated contender, and you haven't been past 6 rounds because you knock everybody out, you're not ready for that drag out 12 round main event title fight. You're just not. Okay, we've seen it with Kovalev, we saw it with Wilder. Okay, these guys fade right around round 6, round 8, and their opponents have another gear because they've been in there. Okay, you can't, people think that conditioning is going to get the job done. Okay, well, you just train really hard, run a lot, you pick your wind up, and you'll be able to go the rounds. No, that's not how it works. Okay, you have to It's not win. It's learning how to not work too hard. It's learning how to conserve energy, when to work, when not to work, and that only comes through doing it. All right, Floyd Mayweather was one of the best at it. He knows when to work and he knows when to rest. He knows how to make a guy work too hard and then turn it up once he gets the guy tired. Okay, that's an art in itself, and it takes a lot of boxing to do that. In the gym, in fights, and in all different atmospheres of the game. You have to be exposed. I mean, exposure is huge. That's why I recommend to any amateur looking to turn pro, go have 100 amateur fights first. Go fight on the national level. Try to fight on the international level before you even get in the ring as a professional, because you're going to be exposed to that much more competition, that much higher level competition, and it's not going to shock you, okay? The first time that you see something and experience it, you don't want it to be in a fight situation. You want to experience that in the gym. You want to experience that as an amateur, and go through it several times so that you get comfortable in that environment, okay? And a lot of punchers don't get that because of the knockouts, because of their incredible power, and I've called it the puncher's curse. I'm going to keep calling it that. That's what it is. It's not a curse per se, but it's a lack of opportunity to get rounds and build your durability up. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. When we watch some of these punches, I mean, so the bottom line being, the boxing's a lot bigger than just knocking people out. There's a lot more going on, and you have to become comfortable in those environments. And as fans, it helps you to understand that. The more understanding you have, the more you can break down what's going on, and that's what I'm here trying to do. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm Chris Wersing. Hands up, chin down. Keep your hands up, chin down. I mean it with all seriousness, but enjoying it at the same time. Thank you very much. But yeah, like I said, boxing, a lot more than power. And sometimes these fighters actually get in, their management, I'll say, gets them into situations they're not ready for in the long run by building up these big reputations and these big, exciting knockouts that they look good in, but they need to be thrown in at a higher level and tested a lot more before they step up. So, hope you guys like the video. Hands up, chin down. I'll see you soon.